last Friday.
Yeah, how'd you do with that? No problem. I know.
Nothing. It was drive up.
Where was that?
It was,
Are you in the Munson system?
no. Thurby Clinic.
Oh, Thurman Clinic.
Yeah.
had drive-up.
Yeah.
So you just rolled up your sleeve and they came out to the car?
Yeah.
God, my God.
You get a lot of feedback.
She's looking at us like,
You hear that feedback?
are you uncomfortable? Do you need a more comfortable chair? No, I'm not sure. You look a bit like something, like pressed in
Well,
here.
I had the blue one and he came, so I had the blue one for you. That's why I brought that from my office. Those aren't very comfortable, the ones in the corner. One of them lays way back. That's what caused the problem in the first place.
That's the groom's side and that's the bride's side.
I've said that so many times over the past 25 years of board meetings.
Have you?
I started that.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry. We must think good minds think alike, right? Right, Peter? Yep. Is this your first?
That's my first one. 31 years. There's some really good chocolates in there. Peter brought.
Appropriate.
You're right. It is.
It is. You better go get one of those.
I've got to wait for my break.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're going to put that after unfinished business. New
yeah,
business.
sure. I'm gonna add something on the agenda.
Whip out a Snickers.
Can I? Under like
Yeah, well, you wait.
8, chocolate
You have to put it under 3B when we do the approval of the agenda. I'll have to amend it.
3B?
Well, to amend the agenda, to
Oh.
add it where you want the
Okay.
chocolate break.
No. That would be unprofessional. We were just discussing that those chocolates were just phenomenal that you brought. So
Yeah,
I
thank
was
you,
gonna
Peter.
amend the agenda to have a chocolate break.
That was like, yeah.
I'm going online when I go home to
Order
order
some?
some. Yeah,
You've got a sweet tooth. You
I do. I love
talking
chocolate.
about honey. We're ready to start. Good evening. My name is John Syke, and I'd like to call the meeting to order for the October 5th, 2021 East Bay Township Planning Commission meeting. Leslie with roll call.
Mindy Walters,
She's excused.
Carl Ferguson,
Excused.
Paul Gonzalez,
Here.
Judy Nimitz,
Here.
Dan Leonard,
Here.
John Fike.
Here. Okay, we have agenda in front of you. There are opportunities here to review for conflict of interest, if anybody has a conflict. If there's no conflicts, we also have consideration of approval of the agenda as presented.
Also move to approve the agenda of Tuesday, October 5th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and support to approve the agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on. Minutes, we have a couple sets of minutes. We have the regular minutes and site visit minutes from August 10th for consideration or modification. Any ch-
Can we ask any questions on follow-up on those, or no? You prefer not to?
I think that would be fine unless, if you,
Can I just ask a question? on page 2, under number 6A, if they start work there, were we going to do anything with the chain link fence? It's like third paragraph, or I didn't see much of that in the, is there?
Yeah,
would we
I think that the planning commission discussed it quite a bit, and the final decision was to not make any requirements
Okay.
related to the chain link fence. The applicant indicated they were gonna be repairing the chain link fence, incrementally.
Incrementally, okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
To it.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or changes? Okay, entertain a motion for action on that?
Also move to approve the minutes of the planning commission, August 10th, 2021.
Support.
As stands.
Okay, we have a motion and support to approve the August 10th regular minutes and site visit minutes. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the regular meeting minutes from September 7th. Presented for you.
I'd have a correction.
Sure.
I think unless, do I get money? I was voted the treasurer, but I think I'm the secretary. Because I don't think you want me handling any money. Can we make that correction on 9A to secretary?
Sure.
I think you should be the treasurer.
I think so
I
too.
agree.
I like that.
Be secretary treasurer.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes with corrections stated.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve the September 7th regular meeting minutes with the correction on the second page of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up is we have public comment. Oh, the site meeting minutes. For,
August 10th.
okay. So we did not, that was not included as part of the,
Agenda. Uh-oh. Can we amend the agenda?
no, it's on the agenda.
Oh, it is.
There's the two sets of site review minutes, site visit minutes from August 10th for, yeah. Okay, I was just under the impression that we included those with the regular meeting minutes.
Do we have to do those separately?
We could include them together or separate. I mean, they could be part of the same motion
Okay.
or separate, either one.
Yeah, as long as the motion's clear that you're approving two sets of minutes.
That's what he recited back, so I didn't get that.
Yeah, I
Did you
thought
say
that they were like as a
Okay,
packet.
good. All right. good.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. All right, moving along. Okay, this first item here for public comment, and this is for items that are not on the agenda. If anybody wants to come forward, welcome to. We ask that you just be mindful of a time here, and feel free if you have any comments. Welcome.
And first, I'm Carol Chakra, 1863 Caspian Lane, also right across the street from Arbutus Lake off Hobbs Highway area. We're 2490 Cambridge Drive. But here's my question before my comment. Maybe I wrote a letter to you in regard to concern for the way you might vote regarding the amendment number 321 to the Forest Lake overlay. Is this appropriate to read the letter now or no? I know the hearing is upcoming.
For, this would be for the,
I can make a clarification.
Yeah.
The hearing has been canceled, so the applicant withdrew their application for the,
okay. So that's actually not moving forward, that's been withdrawn, the
Okay.
application. So you're still welcome to comment if you want, but it looks like that item, even though it's on our agenda, we're is not moving forward.
Well, Claire was good enough to forward the letter, so you can read it on your own time in appreciation for everybody's time. But also, I want to say thank you very much. The conversation that you had amongst yourself in last meeting regarding this topic, it was of value to all of us listening. Thank you very much. And the two letters, and Commissioner Nevis' letter was one of the two. They were just so tutorial and helpful, and they really did bring forth questions we needed to be answering in our own minds. So thank you also for having that in-between meeting just recently with riparians of various forest lakes. That was great. I wasn't part of that, but the fact that you took the time and you cared enough, thank you very, very much. Okay.
Thank you.
And it's great to hear that that was withdrawn, too. Thank you.
Any other public comment at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to reports. Mindy's not here for Township Board. Paul, your ZBA?
Yeah, we had a variance for a request to build a garage in the Lakes area, and that was approved. The original garage request was 26 by 28, but it was amended to 24 by 24, and that was approved.
Okay. Claire?
Okay, you'll see in the, your packet under correspondence, we've got updates on zoning permits issued to date and zoning enforcement efforts. Just wanted to let you know, I know that you guys have received quite a bit of correspondence regarding Port Travers and TC Water Sports through email, and just wanted to let you know that that's going to be taken up by the ZBA as an appeal, so that's going to be coming before the ZBA prior to, you know, if it came before Planning Commission. So TC Water Sports is here tonight for site plan review for the former Irish Boat Shop. But the issue with Sugar Beach and whether or not it's an accessory use is going to be an interpretation or appeal to the ZBA. Wanted to let you know that we approved a minor amendment for Bayview. That was just, they eliminated the cul-de-sac that's shown where Bayview would connect to Elmbrook Golf Course. And so basically they're, because they've got that under ownership, they're going to be connecting with a vehicular access connection. So they basically removed the cul-de-sac and moved one of the duplexes to another location on the site. So it's pretty minor, but our ordinance requires us to announce the minor amendments that were approved. The other minor amendment that I approved yesterday was for Green Knit Car Wash. There was a privacy fence that was going to take down a number of trees, the way that was put on the site plan. So they're going to kind of, they're going to hug the property line, but kind of, it's not going to be totally straight. It's going to leave a little bit to save those trees. So those were the two minor amendments. Also just wanted to mention, as I'm sure you all know, I'll be on maternity leave in a couple of months. So we've got Sarah Capriva with Beckett and Rader is going to be filling in for site plan review and also attending Planning Commission meetings. So I'll be at the November meeting, and I'm due the beginning of December, so I may be at the December meeting, but she would be filling in December and then January, February. So.
Great.
Did Sarah work for Blair Township once?
She might have. She was at
Yeah.
she
She did a while back.
She was one of my students.
Yeah,
So-
she was at Elmwood, and
Yeah.
so now she's with Beckett.
Yeah.
They're doing services for a number of different.
Cool, cool, I know Sarah.
Yeah, she's,
All right.
she'll do a good job for us.
Well, we want you back, though.
And I will be back.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Correspondence? We have on our desk a couple items, or at least we have some. These are just prints that were provided, basically the same thing that's in our packet, just enlarged.
All the correspondence that was received has been emailed, has
Right,
for your email.
okay. All right, moving on to unfinished business, we have case ZA 3-21 permeable pavers, discussion and possible action. And Claire, if you want to just kind of recap what you just mentioned earlier?
Sure, so as was mentioned, we did convene a working group, both Judy Nemitz and Dan Leonard participated from Planning Commission, that was September 20th. We had representatives from, we contacted each lake association, Arbutus, Spider, and Rennie Lake had a representative from each of those lakes. We also had Watershed Center, our township engineer, and staff, as well as the applicant that was applying for the amendment to permeable paver. And so, you know, I think it was a pretty productive conversation. You'll see the agenda notes from the discussion are all in your packet. And there was some, I kind of included in the notes some next steps and maybe some opportunities for tightening up the language in the Forest Lakes Overlay District and clarifying some of the ambiguities that I definitely would like to work on as we amend the zoning ordinance. But I did speak with Robert Wilhelm after the discussion, and he decided to withdraw his application, so. And I don't know if Dan or Judy want to make any additional comments on the conversation.
I think you covered it, and I just really want to thank the public and our citizens for taking place and, you know, that and the time, and thanks for recommending that, Dan. I think it was a good work group.
No, it was beneficial for everybody, I think. Good information, good kind of suggestions, and picture says 1,000 words. That was my takeaway from it. Little illustration goes a long way.
Do we need to take any action, like an acceptance of the withdrawal or anything like that? Would that be appropriate? I mean, just for the record, or is this just?
You could certainly do that. We did it administratively. We refunded the application fee, and so we didn't hold a public hearing, so it,
Yeah, you're at the beginning of the process here, so it's not, otherwise I would have the applicant do it on the record if they were here.
Okay.
And wish to do it, but that was done administratively. It's been a full refund, so it's basically not before the PC.
Okay, that's fine. I think we're fine then, just moving forward.
It's more reflective.
Right, okay. Well, appreciate everybody working on that. Okay, now moving on then to new business. We have the PUD Village at Chartwell, Planning Commission review of a minor amendment to the PUD. Claire, do you want to cover it, do an intro?
yeah, so we've got, I think, a representative of the applicant here, but just for a little bit of background, the applicant is seeking a minor amendment to an approved PUD that's been modified a few times. The most recent amendment that was approved was in 2007. A minor amendment can be approved administratively by staff under section 23611 in our PUD provision. So this would qualify as a minor amendment. The reason I wanted to bring it before the Planning Commission is just because I hadn't participated in the discussion, and I just wanted to make sure that these revised plans kind of reflect the vision and kind of the intent of the PUD. But basically, the applicant is seeking a modification to allow, it would be called, instead of vertical mixed use, so where commercial and residential are both in the same building, it would be horizontal mixed use, so you would allow some commercial in some buildings, some residential in other buildings. It would still be the same ratio of commercial to residential as what was approved in the original PUD. It's the same configuration of buildings. There's a few slight modifications to the square footage of the buildings, but the change doesn't exceed the 10% threshold for minor modification. So it's basically the same site plan that was approved originally. And the other note that I would make is that if we do approve this minor amendment to the PUD, any future development would become before the Planning Commission for site plan review. So it would still be processed the same, but it would allow the applicant to market this property for development and communicate to, potential investors that you could have commercial and residential in separate buildings as opposed to currently where it exists in the same building.
Okay, thank you. And we have the applicant, if you want to, you're welcome to come forward and make any comments.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Planning Commission. Thank you for taking up our issue, and want to say thank you to Claire for explaining that she stole my speech.
Sorry, just want to just introduce yourselves.
Yeah, my name is Howard Walker, and I represent the owner of the property. On record, the owner is E Company, LLC, and this is Chris Bach with Gosling Zubek. He's been part of our team assisting with the layout and the amendment. Anyway, and as I mentioned, I'm representing the owners. The total parcel is composed of 18 acres, and the eastern 8 acres is in a conservation area, and the PUD would not affect that area. We're only talking about the area that has been approved for development in the past. As it was mentioned before, it's commonly known as the Village at Chartwell, and it's currently approved, the PUD is currently approved for, and I liked your term, vertical mixed use, and it was approved in, well, the original site condo was approved in 1999. Maybe the approval from the township came in 1998. Over the years, decades since then, this parcel has been marketed regularly for that type of use. And I've been involved with marketing for a year and a half, 2 years now. And we've marketed it, it's been on the market, we haven't had one call. So that's why we're here today. We feel that there is more of a market for developing these, this mixed use in standalone buildings as opposed to multi-family above commercial areas, which is what the PUD allows now. So we're proposing that the amendment would allow separate multi-use, but I guess I like your description, horizontal and vertical differences or horizontal separation between the uses. And as Claire mentioned before, we're not proposing any significant modification in the square footage that's allowed in the commercial or any significant modification in what's allowed for the multi-family. The owner would just like to be able to have those in separate separate buildings. Now I've been working, as I indicated before, I've been working with Gosling Zubek and specifically Chris Bott, who is here today, and he's got some plans that would indicate what the proposal is specifically and what a plan of what is possible, but as Claire indicated, it's just a plan indicating what's possible, but as she indicated, any development would have to come before the Planning Commission for site plan review if a new owner or separate owners wanted to develop specific sites. So with regards to the specifics, I'm going to turn it over to Chris and let him explain a little bit of the transition of where we've been and where we are and what the possibilities are. Thank you.
Thanks.
As Howard mentioned back in, I believe it was 1998, the original PUD was approved, and this is the layout for, you know, for the entire development. Here's the East Bay Village area, which, you know, is what we're proposing to amend. And I believe that in 2005 it was amended to this layout. And Howard didn't mention it, but the developer went ahead and developed unit number 1, which is where the Children's Advocacy Center is right now, in hopes of, you know, that further develop, people would come in there and develop or, you know, build up the other units, but unfortunately that has not happened. And then everybody received a copy of the revised layout, which is very, very similar. We're proposing commercial in these 4 buildings, multifamily residential in these 3 buildings. The parking is very similar to what was approved before, along with all the utilities. We're also showing a multi-use path along here, and then the sidewalk along Chartwell Drive.
Okay. Thanks. Does anybody got any questions or comments?
One popped into my head, and that was when they originally had the PUD, did they have a, because I was not there, but was there any stipulation as to the uniformity of how it would look?
You mean architectural?
Architecturally, yeah.
Form-based.
No, there's, the East Bay Corners has some kind of general guidelines in that underlying zoning district, but I don't believe the PUD had any architectural design standards.
Yeah, the reason why I would say is that when you talked about it, it wasn't a reconfiguration for a development as much as a reconfiguration for the sale. And I was just wondering, is there envisioned that it's going to be a particular look to the overall Chartwell community, or are they just going to, sell to, develop A and develop a B, and they have different concepts? Or is there some uniformity being planned?
I think the owners of the property are still of the mindset that they're not going to be the developer, but somebody will be the developer. And this effort here today is to help get the property zone that is attractive to somebody that might want to do that. But with regards to the look or the layout is going to have to be similar to what we're proposing here because of
Right.
the lay of the land and where the roads are. But with regards to architectural control, we're not proposing any architectural control other than what would be already contained in the existing PUD. We're not proposing to change any architectural control, and I'm not sure there is architectural control in the zoning ordinance.
There's some architectural standards in the East Bay Corners zoning
Is there?
district. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That
we
deal with
wouldn't be
exterior
proposing to
elements.
change them. Would you be happy living with them?
In the packet, we have this, what was the approval back in December 18th, 1998, these 2 pages here, and it does mention under paragraph 3, architectural sketches. I'm not sure how to interpret this exactly, but it says the sketches are fine-tuned, approved by the Planning Commission for all land uses proposed before the site plan review process begins. The approval process will require a pre-preliminary site plan review, including prior notification to neighboring property owners. So I'm not, it almost sounds like, do you have some?
At that meeting, I remember Joe Myler was presenting, and he did have sketches and drawings of
Okay.
architects. architectural, what they wanted, like, just like the building that's up right now, the
Okay.
Offerman building, that was the first building.
Okay,
So I think there are some in the packet.
All right.
And I remember that meeting. I know I'm old, but I remember.
In
good.
regards to the East Bay Township, you indicate East Bay Township zoning has architectural.
Just, yeah, building materials and percent of window coverage.
I see.
On first floor and.
And you know, there is an association document that governs that, the village at Chartwell, and it has bylaws too. We're not proposing to change them. So whatever's there now, we're happy with it.
Yeah, well, that would be something that would be considered when you actually do get a development coming in there, and they would have to, I mean, those are condominium requirements, probably what you're speaking of, or
Might be-
PUD development.
Might be, well, you've got to build your sidewalk out in front,
Right,
maybe they have additional setbacks from what the township does. Maybe they say you can't have roofs with this slope of a flatter roof.
Right.
It has to be certain pitch. I'm not familiar with those. I didn't know that I'd be addressing them, but we're not proposing that they change, whatever they are now.
okay, yeah. So there would just be something that would be reviewed at that point.
Yeah,
when they come
I
to
mean, when I
site plan,
look at it,
yeah.
it says the village at Chartwell, it envisions that there would be a uniformity to the architecture of the entire development, that's all. And I just wanted to make sure that whatever is in there stays in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say when I reviewed the Children's Advocacy Center building, I really scoured the approvals from the past, and there was kind of definitely general sketches, but nothing really black and white in terms of, requirements that I could find for architecture. But if future site plan is submitted, we'll certainly look for that.
I have a question. We have quite a few drawings here. Let me ask you about the Children's Advocacy Center. On one of them, it says that there's 3 apartments. Is that no longer in the plan?
There are 3.
Okay, so there's a total of 67, not 64 in this development then, right? Because 20 and 20, I mean, there will be. Because if we add those 3,
If you add those 3 to what's being proposed.
right, then it's 67.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clarification. Instead of 64, there'll be 67 apartments.
Right.
Right, but.
That's already
They'll
done.
have some flexibility, so
Okay.
this minor amendment approval wouldn't tie us to that. It's
Okay.
tying us to the ratios
Okay.
of residential.
Right.
and commercial.
The other, could you point out to me, like, your green space regarding the buildings and how that might work with apartments? Because we know that, green space is kind of critical to the look and what I hope to achieve when we have living residences
So
there.
the buildings that we put on, I mean, we're proposing that many
Yeah.
units, the footprint
Yes.
isn't necessarily going to be that. So I would assume that,
Oh.
when they submit a site plan, that they're going to have to meet the landscaping.
Okay.
ordinance.
So what
So
you're
this
saying,
is-
this is just a concept?
Right.
Okay, so we can come back and chat with you about that. All right, thank you, that's it.
There is remaining the 8 acres of the conservation area, which of course would be changed.
Dan, do you have anything?
My only concern is that I just hate for this thing to have to come back through this process for something so simple. I trust in Claire, she's kind of got a good review under this already, and, frankly, so long as the square footages are the same, I'm comfortable with this thing. Even if, like, as an example, Judy, like, if the 2 one-story buildings didn't go together and they ended up building a 2-story building that's the same square footage, like, who cares? That's where I'm at. And we'll address that once we get to a site plan review in the future anyway. So I guess this is just in concept. Can we split the uses, period? My answer says it feels right. They've been attempting it too for several years, obviously with no success. So this is an alternative to that. So I'm supportive of it overall. And then as it gets built, hopefully over time, we'll address them as they come in.
Okay. Well, I think for myself, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, certainly if the market's not working, what was originally proposed, it certainly makes sense to change it up here, and I think this makes a lot of sense going forward, so. There is a possible motion that's presented in the staff report. If anybody wants to consider that?
Motion to approve the minor amendment to the PUD Village of Chartwell as presented.